Hello, my name is Juan Win, and this is the story of my personal journey from when I was a young kid and hopefully eventually when I become a doctor. My parents are both originally from Vietnam and they immigrated here due to the Vietnam War. And they've done everything for me and my sisters, so they've inspired me a lot in my educational journey. Both of my parents are computer engineers, so there's a lot of math involved that they do. So doing math during school was a piece of cake when my mom would help teach me. And you guys may be wondering, if both of your parents are computer engineers, why don't you just follow in their path and why do something like the medical field? Well, you see, when I was younger, there's this Vietnamese tradition that my parents still did with me and my sisters was basically they would put various items in front of you, just representing different career paths in your future. And this could kind of like determine what the child would want to do with their life. So it was just one day my parents came home from work and they were just like, you know what? Let's just put some random stuff in front of the child and see what he wants to do with his life. So this is just a rough sketch of my living room. There's my dad, and then here's my mom, and they put forth like random stuff like an apple, which could be like a teacher or art, and pretty sure they were hoping I didn't choose that one, and some books to see how I. The items I remember the most growing up choosing was the pens, calculator, and oral syringe. And I chose the oral syringe, so it just seemed like fate that I'm just going to become a doctor in the future, and I'll just briefly go through my educational path from when I started as a youngin all the way up until now as my time at UCF. Growing up, I didn't always want to be a doctor. In fact, I wanted to be a football star growing up. But then I realized I'm really short and I just probably had no shot of making any team. So this really frustrated me as a kid. But then I realized that if I just started studying and doing hard work in school, that maybe I can become a doctor, hopefully. And this is just a reminder how short I was growing up. Throughout elementary and middle school, it was pretty easy. I'd always get A's on all my assignments and exams, and I was wondering, like, will high school be a little more challenging? And when I got into high school, I started branching out a little bit more. I joined the health academy at Boone. I picked up a sport, which was lacrosse, and I joined various clubs there. And it just really helped me become more of who I wanted. But nothing more was my favorite than the health academy at Boone. I learned so many things while I was in there for all 4 years of my high school. I learned anatomy, physiology, all the basics. And then my favorite year was my senior year when we were able to go to ORMC and do rotations throughout the hospital and learn a lot from the doctors, nurses, techs that were there. And it really like made me more interested in the medical field and just made me want to just go full head in for it. And I was able to rotate on a lot of trauma floors. So that really just like made me want to go more into emergency medicine. After I had my fun at Boone, it was time to graduate and eventually go on to bigger and better things at UCF. Going through UCF, learning all the various topics that I had to, like chemistry, organic chemistry, biology, and then the mixture of biochem and physics and other health science requirements, I found it was like really difficult and really challenging. And it got frustrating at times, but all in all, I was like, this is really fun. And I really enjoy learning all these challenging material. And I'm really glad I stuck with it. So then now I'm thinking, what are the next steps in my journey? First, I got to get my degree, do good on the MCAT, apply for medical school, and then go save some lives. Now, this does sound pretty tiring, but in the end, it'll be well, especially when I'm standing in front of that hospital, thinking back on my educational journey from when I was a young child, thinking that I'm going to be a football star, and then realizing that that wasn't going to happen, and that a new dream that, in my opinion, is a lot better. is going to be well worth it.